Right now, there are people making millions of dollars launching software businesses, even though they know nothing about how to code. Just like Josh Moorer, who built an AI note-taking app with ChatGPT, and he took that business to $4 million a year all by himself, solo, and he did it in just 8 months. And the craziest part, he was completely non-technical, not a programmer, not a coder, not a techie. He built the whole thing and scaled it up in under a year, all using AI. What if by this time tomorrow, you can have your own AI-powered SaaS business bringing in your first customers? Well, I've identified 5 different software business ideas that AI can build for you literally in hours, even if you've never written a single line of code in your whole life. So just months ago, what I'm going to show you would have been unimaginable, actually impossible. But there have been just some recent massive breakthroughs in AI coding. So this has just happened. And now it is possible for anyone to build valuable software tools that generate profit, even if you don't know how to code, even if you can barely write your emails. You can make code now today using AI. I would know, as someone who has sold tens of millions of dollars myself of software, like I have software companies and we sell software to businesses and entrepreneurs, and I have sold literally tens of millions of dollars worth of that software. What we're seeing today is absolutely insane. In fact, I'll tell you, I'm a little bit jealous of you, okay? All these years, I've been building software, and it has been so hard to get started. If you get started today using what I'm going to show you in just a little bit, it's going to be so much easier than I've ever had to do it. It's like I had to walk up hills both ways in the snow, right, to build my software, because I literally used to spend tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of dollars out of my pocket to hire a technical team and programmers and senior software developers to build my software. And it would take my team months from I have my idea, by the time the software was ready to get its first customers in the door, was months of time from the thought to it actually being in action. And now I see people spending $50 and they use an AI tool, and basically it spits out their apps coded, ready to launch in like a couple of hours. So this lets everyday ordinary people like you launch money-making software basically overnight. And that's because AI does all the heavy lifting for them. So in this video that you're watching now, I'm going to show you the 5 best types of micro software businesses. These are little software businesses that are so easy to make, and you can tap into them now and cash in big time. And when you stick with me to the end of this video, I will show you how you can get access to a mega swipe file, a big old list of 49 real-life examples of people who built money-making software businesses with AI with 0 coding experience at all. That's right, there are 49 different examples that we have collected so you can see for yourself what's possible and see lots of examples. We'll get to that at the end of this video. So the question is, are you ready? Then let's dive in. This presentation comes with a complete deck that you can see over there. If you'd like to download it, it's totally free. And all you need to do is become a subscriber to our free Ingeniosity email newsletter. And we'll pop a link to that in the description and in the chat below, so you can go register and get your copy of this slide deck. Once this video gets published live, we'll have gone through and made this ready for all of the customers, and it'll be yours free. It's my gift when you join Ingeniosity. And so that slide deck that you see me that I'll be going through will be yours absolutely free. Okay, so let's get into it. So you might be wondering, how are people creating software without knowing a single line of code? You can't, anyone who doesn't know anything about programming or tech stuff, everyday people everywhere are doing it, and they're using AI tools. And there is a wide variety of different tools. And today we're not going to dive into how to use the tools because it's really easy to do. Instead, we're going to dive into what you should be making. What are the kinds of software tools that you should be making? And we're going to zero in on something called a micro SaaS because they're really easy to build. Now, what this is, it's software as a service. That's what SaaS stands for. So if you ever see that out on the internet, SaaS, that means you have a web-based app that someone can access on the internet. Now, as an example, what I'm going to do is I will show you an example. So we're going to make a new tab here. Here is an example of one I use all the time. So this little web app right here, This is an example of a micro SaaS. This is actually a whole suite of tools that help you with formatting text. So I'll use it, for example, if I'm writing text and then I want to convert it into a headline, or let's say I've copied some text that is in all caps and I want to convert it into lowercase. And you can see down here all the little things that it does. So for example, here, if I type, here's some stuff I'd like in a headline, all I have to do is click here on title case and it transforms it into title case with capital letters. It's a really simple tool. I use this tool every single day. This is an example of a SaaS. This is called a micro SaaS. It's very small. It's software that helps someone solve some kind of unique problem or achieve some kind of unique goal. Let me show you another one that I use almost every day. Right here, an email spam checker. So I use this tool almost every single day because what you type in here, you could say, hi, friend, this is an email and I'm going to spam you. Okay, did you notice how spam just highlighted there? That's because that is a word that gets spammed. The word spam gets flagged as a spam word. So you can see here as I continue, I'll say money, 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 banks or bank, credit card, financial, right? So you can see the words that start turning colors are spam words. So you can identify words you shouldn't use in your email. I use this tool all the time. There's another example of a SaaS. Other tools require you to log in on the web. If you've ever accessed a tool, whether it's free or paid, where you need to put in you got to register and then you put in your email and password and you access it on the web, those are other examples of SaaS or software as a service. So this is the kind of business that we are going to be making. And so the examples I'm going to give you are really simple examples like this. The amazing thing is simple software tools like these can make a heck of a lot of money. You heard examples of $4 million a year. I see many. You'll see 49 examples of these a little bit later when we build that. Now I'm curious, let me know in the comments, are there any common tools like this that you use? Are there any like cool little web apps or tools or unique things that you're using, whether it's for personal, for business, for whatever, for fun? Let me know in the chat if you use any tools like this yourself. So maybe you kind of realize the value of some of these things. And now with AI, they are incredibly easy to make. So let's go back to the presentation. So we're going to make simple tools like these using AI and make a bunch of money. All right. So the first, counting down from number 5 on down, we're going to start with what are called niche CRMs. That stands for customer relationship management. So that means like you're managing leads, you're managing data that somebody might need for either customers or leads or possible sales teams. Here's one here. You can make them for specific industries using these tools. You can actually use AI to code this up. This is probably the most advanced out of all the tools we're going to talk about today, which is partially why it's number 5, because it's not as easy as some of the ones we're going to continue to talk about later, but it has a lot of value. This case study that we're showing you here, they make $60,000 a month because they built this tool for construction companies. Here's another one here. This person did a photography customer relationship management tool. They make $1.8 million a year. So these are 2 pretty phenomenal case studies, wouldn't you say? And if you have any questions about CRMs and what they are, ask those in the chat as well. We'll do our best to answer those for you. But the simplicity is it's something that helps to manage leads, sales, or clients to help you with your workflows, to help you make sure you get, you follow up with all your leads. Let's say, and even an example, like in a medical office might have a CRM to manage the patients and their appointments and so forth. So those are examples of that. So now let's move on to idea number 4, and that is niche content generators. Okay. Now you might immediately have something in your mind. Let's like an article writer. That's a form of content, a written article. That's probably the simplest form of content of all. There are so many other tools that you can make. And this is a really interesting idea that you can see with this case study we're going to show you here. So this is Frederick, and he built a profitable SaaS in 2 weeks. Again, he didn't know anything about coding. And what he built is a jingle maker. It just makes music jingles. That's it. That's what it makes. So that's a form of content, right? Songs, music, images, cartoons, illustrations, infographics, all of these are forms of content. Video is another form of content, written word. There's so many variations of different kinds of content and you could make for specialty industries. So you could, for example, Like he made a jingle maker, but you could have an ad maker specifically tailored to construction companies, right? You could have a video ad maker that's just for dentists, but there are lots of forms of both content for informing and educating, but also for your advertising and marketing. And you can make these, and they're very easy to do. Now let's move on to idea number 3. These are niche calculators. So this is kind of along the lines of a couple of the ones that I showed you earlier. And these are where there are things that you want to calculate or examine or evaluate for your target audience. Let's just look at their examples. This one here is a cost estimator calculator. So, and here we can go to Reddit, and let's actually take a look at their Reddit thread, which, by the way, when you download the deck, you'll get access to this. So you'll have all the links, all the case studies that I'm showing here, you'll get the links to go look at them, plus 49 more that I'll talk more about in a minute. But you can see here, he talks about what he used to build it, how he built it. There it is, a pothole cost calculator. Pretty cool, right? That's an example of a calculator. And then here's a retirement calculator. That's a great one. The financial industry has a lot of very profitable affiliate programs and products and services and things that you can promote. It's a very lucrative marketplace. And here's one who somebody built a calculator that helps people plan and target their retirement. Really valuable. So that's number 3. Now, number 3, I particularly like because it's a perfect balance of ease. So they're very easy to make, very simple for people to understand the value for. And if you plan it right, which that's a big thing that I would like to help you with. So we're doing trainings and webinars and things all the time. And in fact, check down below, you might see in the description or in the chat a link to one of our webinars. Well, I'll show you how you can make these things, but they're really easy to make. And the important part is in the planning. It's figuring out what kind of calculator to make and making sure that you're targeting the right niche market with the right kind of calculator. And when you get it all your research correct from the start, sometimes these things just explode and take off right when you launch them. So we're going to move on to idea number 2. That is niche job boards. So niche job boards, depending upon where you're at in the world. And that is just like it sounds. It could be a job board that collects jobs and makes them searchable and available and browsable to different industries. Here's an example here. So this person made it's for remote jobs in Latin America. That was what they built, looking for remote programmers and technical workers in Latin America, and they made it without any coding experience. And again, we'll have a link to the case study where they talk about how they built it and how that all happened. That'll be in the deck when you download it. So I have some experience, by the way, in this market. One of my early businesses that was really, really quite large. We had a large staff, and it turned into a very big company in the jobs and career and employment marketplace. We help people with resume writing. We help companies hire staff, and we had a big job board. So it was a very big company in the employment niche. So this is a very lucrative niche, and it's one that's pretty easy to get traffic from as well if you know what you're doing. So based on my experience, I can tell you that this is incredibly lucrative. It's a little more difficult to make than a calculator, but it can be a very profitable thing, especially if you have unique industry experience or something that really is something that you enjoy. You can make one of these niche job boards and make quite a lot of money at it. So let's continue on down to number 1, and that is niche directories. And this is just like it sounds. It is a directory of things or businesses that are targeted towards a specific location, a specific niche, solving a unique problem, but they're all centered around a unique concept. And you put together a searchable listing of all of these different kinds of things. And AI can build this quite easily. In fact, I just built one. So just last Saturday, I jumped on and used an AI coding tool in Saturday afternoon, I made a really valuable, really cool directory that I'm giving to some of my customers. It's going to be part of a high ticket program that I charge a decent amount of money for. And I give that tool away to them. And when they buy that package, again, I made it in an afternoon, and you can make these that are incredibly useful. There are all kinds of things. Think of any kind of group of either businesses or items or things that you would want to collect up and make searchable. You can have a directory of AI tools as an example, right? There's some people making a ton of money doing that. You could have a directory specifically of just image AI tools. You could like hyper focus down to just one aspect of a niche market and make a directory about it. There's a lot of options available for doing these directories. The case study is a creator hunter. So this is someone who, without knowing any code, made $17,000 in 90 days. And what they did is they compiled a list of influencers or creators, right? People that have YouTube channels like me, or maybe they have an Instagram presence, or they have a big Facebook following, or they're on TikTok or wherever. They have an audience. So they made a directory of influencers that you can hire to promote your products. And you can, as you see on the screen there. And if you'd like to learn more, they'll be linked to the in the slide deck, so you can go check that out. Here's another one. This is a directory. It's a database of cities that are friendly for remote workers around the world. So if you're like a digital nomad, that's a big thing now. There's a large market for the digital nomad space where people just travel the world, and while they work remotely, whether they're entrepreneurs or whether they have a remote job. So it's a big deal now. And so here's one where they've made a directory of nomad-friendly places. And again, you can find out more about that here. And now let's go on to the bonus round here. So we have compiled a giant list of 49 different case studies of people who built micro SaaSes, these small little software businesses. They built them with AI, and they built them incredibly fast, launched them fast. Many of them have made huge sums of money. Some of them are small little, smaller case studies. Some of them are gigantic case studies, but you'll have 49 different examples of these. And let's take a look at some of them. And you get this as well when you download the deck by becoming a subscriber to our free Ingeniosity newsletter. Link is in the description and in the chat below. When you join that, you'll be able to download this for free. It will go into our library. We have a library of, we call them our playbooks. So there are dozens of different playbooks for different kinds of money-making and customer getting strategies. And you'll have access to all of them totally free. So let's take a look at some of these. First up here, he built a software tool in 7 hours and got his first sale the same day. So it says right there, 11 a.m., got an idea, right? He was using ChatGPT and came up with an idea. 2 p.m., coded it with AI. 7 p.m., first Stripe sale of $49. So that is roughly 7 hours from the idea in his mind to the first dollars coming in the door. Pretty amazing, right? So you'll get that link in this set of case studies, but let's take a look at another one. Here's somebody who launched an app using only AI coding tools. He launched it on a Saturday, and in a week, ended up with 200 visitors to his site and 32 people signing up for his software business. Pretty cool, right? We'll take a look here. There's some showing his traffic, and there is a link to the discussion over on Reddit. Here's one. In just 48 hours, 2 days, they gained 4,000 members on their software app that they created without knowing anything about coding. That one's linked there too. This is cool. This is a cool one. So not every SaaS business has to be about money making. A lot of times when you make a SaaS, you're targeting to solve problems in life. You're targeting to help businesses solve some kind of unique problem. Like the examples I showed you, they solve unique problems for me, and so I use them every day. But what if you could solve other kinds of problems that are not necessarily money making? What if you could make apps to just help people? And that's what this person did right here. So they made an app that helped their quadriplegic nonverbal brother. So their brother obviously has a tough time in life, and they made an app that allows their brother, and you can see a little closer view of the app there, to be able to communicate with people in his environment. How cool is that? So they've made this app, and it lets them communicate different sorts of concepts and ideas so that he can talk to his family, his friends, and communicate with the outside world. That is really cool. So not necessarily looking to make money, but just helping people. And it is by doing that is really the core of what makes all of these tools work, is that you do need to, at the end of the day, make something neat that helps people solve some sort of unique problem or help them achieve some kind of goal in their life or in their business. And that's the key to success. Now, I want to remind you of two things. Number one, you can download that deck and you can see the case study of how he helped his quadriplegic brother and 48 others. Just go tap that link you see down in the description and in the chat below. You can get access to that. And then I also have a webinar, and if we're going to be doing one coming up, I will link to it down below where I can dive more in depth to show you how you can actually start one of these software companies with me, where we'll work together to launch your micro SaaS company, where all of my team, I have an entire team that builds my software companies, my marketing team who markets them and we launch them, and myself will all work together with you and help you launch a software company. So if you'd like to learn more about that, then I will drop a link to the upcoming webinar. Hopefully we have one coming up soon. If we do, you'll see that link down below as well. That'll be in the description and in the comments. And go register for that and attend. It'll be a webinar with a private webinar with a live chat, and we're going to help you launch your software business. With that, I want to thank you for tuning in. And if you got value out of this little presentation, then do me a favor tap that like button down below and let YouTube know that this video is worth recommending to others. It'll help me a lot. I'd be eternally grateful for that extra little push. And if you want more content like this, then make sure you subscribe. You'll see the subscribe button down below. Give that a tap. Become part of our little community here that we are building on YouTube. We do live shows every Wednesday where I help you in your journey as an entrepreneur, and we release content here on the YouTube channel every week. There was at least one training session released on the channel, and I hope to see you next time. And on that note, bye for now. You may or may not know, I have an AI tool that's a company called Pushbutton AI that helps people build course businesses. It builds the whole business, bottom to top. It helps you do the research to pick the niche market, helps you figure out what topics you should write about, what your course should be about, what the lessons should be about. It outlines the lessons. It writes the whole thing. It creates your sales page. It creates your page to get leads to subscribe to your business. It even writes your email sequence. It does audiobooks, video trainings, and a whole lot more. You just answer 2 questions and you hit a button, and it does it all. If you're interested in that, certainly you can book a demo to see it for yourself. You'll see with your own eyes. We're often running webinars and other trainings as well, so I'll drop links to either our webinar or our demos down below so you can check it out and see if it's something for you. But I found that most people get really overwhelmed and frustrated with the technical stuff. So that's why we created Pushbutton AI. If you're looking for a tool, we'll just do it for you, and it'll just handle the technical stuff. So when it comes to like setting up your web hosting, registering a domain name, setting up your email marketing, we even include a complete, fully functional email marketing platform that you can log into and email all of your customers and subscribers. It's all included. And all of the tech setup is done by the AI. If you want that, then definitely schedule your demo. You can get a demo from us by going to pushbutton.ai/demo. Now, at the time of recording this video, Pushbutton AI is not publicly for sale. But if you book a demo, they'll show you the technology. And if it makes sense, if it's something that can really help you, they'll invite you into our early access program. But what they'll do first is show you the technology. They'll talk about what kind of a course you might want to make. They'll talk about your business plans. They'll help guide you on what the right choices are for creating your first course business. And then if it makes sense, if it's the right tool for you, they'll invite you into the early access program. But check out the demo. It's mind-blowing. Again, that's at pushbutton.ai/demo. That's pushbutton.ai/demo.